Welcome to the replica of John Deere's original blacksmith shop. For today's demonstration, that's a piece of 3/8 inch square stock of mild or low carbon steel. And right here, inside that piece of steel, is an ornamental decorative leaf. And it's just screaming to get out of there. So we're gonna bring that out. So we're gonna get our steel in the forge. We're gonna heat it up to that white hot or malleable steel temperature right at 2,000 degrees. So we'll take our steel right out here to the edge of the anvil, and we're going to draw it down to a nice square tapered point right up there to the edge. Straighten it out. I'm going to overhang the edge of the anvil using a half face blow. I'm going to neck that steel down, come up a quarter of a turn. We're going to go from here. We're going to manage our steel in a square. Get it down the size and shape you want as a square. Just keep hitting it and slowly roll it around until my edges are all gone, otherwise known as round. Okay. So in one heat, there's a stem, a mass of steel, and a point. It's a leaf bud, and from that bud, we're going to grow that leaf out. However, from this point forward, every time it goes back in the fire, it's at risk of melting. So I want to kind of dance with it, in and out of that hot spot to get to the right temperature or color without melting the finish. Like that. So now, I don't want to mess up the point, so we're going to start back here at the back edge. Start to draw that metal out. I'm going to use the cross peen. Driving from the middle out. Got labor with my right hand and management with the left hand. That's a two-dimensional leaf. Got length, got width. Now I can give it depth. Turned into a three-dimensional leaf. So back to the heat we're going to go. And I'll get my next step ready. I've got a leaf forging die as a hardy tool, and this is a blunt chisel. It's not a sharp chisel. I'm going to run that chisel right down the middle of the leaf, which will fold it, hammer it flat in the trough to imprint the vein on the back. So you got to use your brain to figure out where it's hot and where it's not hot. All right, take that chisel. I'm going to run that chisel right down the middle. Now, I don't want to cut it. I just want to push it right down the middle. We'll flatten that out. I'm going to make a second pass. Same chisel. Going to imprint some lines on that leaf, giving it some character and definition. We'll come the opposite side. Going to make it semi-etrical. So there's the lines and the fold on that leaf and the vein on the back side. But it's still too flat. I want more volume and curl. But chiseling from the top is called chasing. You actually chase those grooves right into material. So now we're going to add volume and curl. So we're going to go right back into the heat. We're going to switch out our tools here. Chiseling is chasing. And what I have here is an embossing hammer. There are two different sized ball peens on one handle. And there's a dimple in the die. We're going to push those curves in from the back. So we're going to take that leaf. We're going to go line side, face it down. And I'm going to push it down into the dimple. Let the ball into the hammer and that dimple cut together to shape and curl that leaf. Flip it over, change the direction of the curves. Right. So now you're starting to see the real flavor to this leaf. A little flat on that edge, and just work that stem back nice and straight. So you see we got a real sweet cup and a little curl on the end, but it's not quite finished yet. So we're going to get a little isolated heat right on the tip. I'm going to take it right up there to the tip of the horn of the anvil. I'm going to put that little finishing scroll or finial scroll right on the tip. See how it just kind of points up, doesn't finish well? Turn it over, I'm going to hook it on the horn, turn that around, and I can freehand and finesse and pull that little scroll around until my eye tells me That's where it looks good. So when that leaf falls off the tree, it won't poke anybody in the eye. And that's also your proof that it's handmade. Now here's your safety tip. Don't touch it, because steel lies to you. It'll stop glowing and look just like cold steel. But it does that nasty trick at 800 degrees. So in a shop, treat everything like it's hot. You'll never get burned. And when in doubt, spit on it. Because listen, I want you to hear a sound. All right, you hear that sizzling? Your skin makes the same sound. But you can't hear the sizzling over the screaming. So don't do it. But it'll go from red hot to that cold, just that quick. And that's just an ornamental, decorative leaf out of steel. Anytime you can take something that don't look like it comes from nature, and you can make it look like it comes from nature, I think you can say you've done something. And that's what blacksmiths do. We heat the steel up, we forge it into the shapes we do, and that's what John Deere did when he started this company in 1837, right here in Grandy, Illinois, at the John Deere Historic Site. Thanks for stopping by.